Like my legs aren't long enough for these tights.
Well, I went to the book group for people of dead Jews that never were born. And they kind of devolved a lot into people like venting their experience, which is expected, but that makes me think
Okay.
they probably should be facilitated because, yeah, I'm like, oh, happy to talk.
Hi, Elise.
Hi,
How are
sorry,
you?
didn't mean to.
No problem. Okay. So obviously, Mariel's not here. Oh, I forgot. I gotta put this on. So I'll put this on. So thanks for coming. Mariel's not here. She'll be back tomorrow. Hi, how are you doing? This is Melissa coming in. Melissa may not know it, but she's going to be on the mat today. So as I said, thanks for coming. If you had a fast yesterday, I hope it was an easy fast. I know Navratri ended yesterday, and I know that Mariel talked a lot about it last week if you were here. Navratri is the festival of the goddess. It is 9 nights. Nav stands for 9, Ratri for nights. And I know that she told a lot of stories and went into it at length, but I just want to go back and hone in on one part of it because there's a particular part of the story that really resonates with me. And so I'll go back to that. But before I go into it, why it resonates to me, has any of you here, has anybody been a caretaker? Like, not caretaker of a house, but like taking care of an ill child or an elder parent? Yeah. Or maybe you're in healthcare or a therapist, or you're just a very empathetic person. So you take in this stuff and this anger and this pain, and then what do you do with it? And that's the part of this story that really resonates to me. Just to remind you, the goddess Durga was fighting the demon Raktabija. Raktabija had a boon, that's a reward for doing great tapas, that every drop of blood that fell would turn into, when he was wounded, would turn into 1,000 more demons, little demons. And if you remember, Durga is the goddess. She comes out of Parvati. There are the three gods, the three main goddesses. Parvati is Shiva, that's him in his Navratri incarnation. And so Parvati is his wife, the householder. When the going gets tough, Durga comes. We all go for Durga. When the going gets tough, go for Durga. And Durga comes out of her furrowed bow. Durga is the most beautiful, badass bitch. Sorry, okay? She's the one you get when, like I said, when the going gets tough. I know this is an old movie, but I think it's a classic, so most of us, have any of you seen The Terminator with Arnold Schwarzenegger? Yeah, okay. It's kind of apropos now. He's saving he has to save the little boy who's going to save the world from the AI robots, kind of timely. But anyway, if you remember his mother, played by Linda Hamilton, and she started out at the beginning just kind of a normal mom, and then she turns herself into the cut. You know, and she's saving her son to save humanity. That's Durga to me. She's beautiful, badass bitch that's saving the universe, okay? So this demon is going to destroy the world, and she's fighting him, and she is incredible, but even she realizes this is a little bit too much for me. So she furrows her brow, and out of her brow comes Kali. Now, Kali is the most ferocious crazy. While Durga is beautiful and adorned and bejeweled, Kali, if you've seen pictures of her, her hair is going crazy, and she's got these jagged teeth, and she wears like 1,000 skulls necklace around, and she typically has her tongue hanging out. If you've seen that goddess, yeah. Aside, pause. If you've ever seen the Rolling Stone logo, That, with the tongue, that is actually inspired by Kali. Okay, back to the story. They were cool, back in the 70s. Or that would have been the 60s, I guess. Anyway, so Kali comes out, and she takes that tongue, and with the tongue, she vacuums up all of the blood. And now the universe is saved. But now she has all of this toxicity inside of her. And now she's going crazy, and she's going crazy. And now the gods are afraid Kali is going to destroy the world. So they call on Shiva. And Shiva comes, and he is the coolest dude that meditates calmness. He is consciousness. He's meditating on the mountaintop. So he just lies down in front of her, and she puts her foot on him, and his coolness balances out her heat. And she's calmed, and the universe is safe. Okay? So my point, going back to caretakers, what do? We are ingesting all of that anxiety and stress, and how do we get rid of it? Okay? Because it would overcome and take us over. So there are different ways. There's different limbs of yoga. You can use your meditation. You can use pranayama. If you're not into yoga, you can go look at the ocean, go out into nature, go for a hike, get your feet in grass. Or what we're doing here today, our physical asana part of yoga, what I thought we would concentrate on today is opening up the hips. Because a lot of us tend to store a lot of anxiety and stress in the hips. So I thought that would be the way that we could kind of practice on the mat, balancing out that heat to coolness to come to a balance. Sound cool? All right. All right. Is there anything, so we'll do hip openers. Is there anything anybody else wants to do that you definitely, something felt icky when you woke up this morning? No? Okay. So let's take a comfortable seat if you haven't already. Close your eyes or just soften them, whatever feels appropriate for you. And press down through your sit bones to reach out the crown of the head, get really tall. If your knees are way up above your hips, you can go ahead and sit up on something. If you're sitting up on something, sit towards the front of it so your back isn't rounding out. You want your back coming up and in. And now turn to your breath. Closing your eyes can make it a little more accessible to quiet the mind a little bit. Noticing the breath can help you quiet the mind. You're never going to still the mind, but you can quiet it. So drink the breath in through your nose and out through your nose. And next time you bring the breath in, notice that it goes all the way down to the bottom of your belly. And then exhale through your nose. And next time, as you bring your breath all the way down to your belly, notice on the inhale that your belly expands. And then as you exhale, the belly button retreats towards the spine. Sometimes we reverse breathe. That is, we bring our belly in on the inhale and expand on the exhale. That happens especially when we're getting very anxious. So do notice that on the inhale, the belly expands, and then on the exhale, it retreats towards the spine. Notice, does your inhale match your exhale? Maybe even count out. So 1, 2, or 3 seconds. And try and match the exhale for 1, 2, or 3 seconds. And as you drink the breath all the way into the bottom of your belly, try and fill up your entire torso, front to back, side to side. And then as you exhale, try to retain all that space and simply soften around it. And on the next inhale, we'll bring our hands in front of our heart in Anjali Mudra, symbol of the lotus. The lotus is a symbol of the heart. So we're placing our heart in front of our physical heart. We'll begin practice with the sound of one Om. Feel free to participate or simply to receive. Big breath in. Softly bow your head to your heart, your head to each other's hearts. Blink open the eyes, release the hands, and let's get started in child's pose. So hands out in front of you, just like in down dog. Notice that your index fingers point straight ahead. Spread your fingers wide so there's a little bit of space in between each finger. Knees are as wide as the mat with your toes, big toes touching in the center. And then press your hands, without moving them, press your hands down and forward. You'll feel your sit bones come back towards your heels just a little bit more. And then take a big inhale, get long from hips to armpits, and then just exhale, soften a little bit, your chest a little bit closer to the ground. And then press your hands down, feel your forearms lift up, your biceps lift up, your armpits lift up, and then press your hands forward to bring those sit bones back a little bit more. Let me try and find the music. On an inhale, look forward, and then walk your hands to the right. Really bring attention to pressing down through the left hand and feel your left sit bone go a little bit closer to your left heel. Feel the nice big stretch through the left side body. And inhale to get long, exhale to soften. Maybe walk your hands a little bit farther to the right. Take another big breath in, and then walk your hands back through center. Pause down the middle, and then when you're ready, walk your hands to the left. Same drill, different side. This time bringing attention to pressing your right hand down and forward, feeling that right sit bone go even closer to the heel, feeling that big peel in the right side body. And notice what's happening to your left shoulder. Is it dipping down? If it is, press down through the left hand to raise, yes, nice, to bring the shoulders level. And then inhale, walk the hands back through the center and pull yourself up to all fours, tabletop position. So your hands are shoulders width apart, an inch or so in front of your shoulders. Knees are hips width apart, an inch or so in back of your hips. Toes are tucked under. So tuck your toes under so your heels point straight up to the sky. And notice, is your belly button falling down? We want that. It's called tabletop, so we want a flat back, as if you could put my coffee or my water on your back. So belly button back comes back, and even the sacrum comes up. Is it okay to touch? Okay, bring your back up to meet my hand. Yes, there you go. Nice, flat back. And isometrically draw your hands towards the midline. Feel your arms turn on. You should have all of your muscles turned on here. So your hands are drawing towards the midline. Your shins are drawing towards the midline. All the muscle is hugging to bone. And then on an inhale, look up, arch your back, sit bones to the sky. And exhale, round your back, look to your belly, sit bones towards your heels. And just undulate through cat and cow on your breath. Use the whole breath. Let the breath initiate the movement. Just warming up the spine. We warmed up the side body. Now just warming up the spine front to back. Using the whole breath to come into cat, the whole breath to come into cow. And then after you've evened up your cat and your cow, come back to the neutral position. And then walk your knees back a few inches, coming into puppy or three-quarter dog. Different names for the same thing. So you want your hips over your knees. So it's like a little less weight-bearing down dog. So peek at your hands. Notice that your index fingers still point straight ahead. We want our chin to be off of the ground. And inhale, get long from hips to armpits. Exhale, soften a little bit between the shoulder blades. On every inhale, you can lengthen the torso, and exhale, soften the chest a little bit more. And then TP the fingers on your right hand, and with your left hand, thread it under, coming into the twist. So left shoulder comes to the ground, and breathe. You can even bend your right elbow so it points up to the sky more. Yes. And on every inhale, create that length in the torso. Exhale, open up the chest a little bit more to the right, towards the brick wall. And notice as your left hip dipping down, if it is, press your knee into the left knee into the ground to raise the left hip up level. And then inhale to unwind. Balance it out. Find your balance between the two sides. And then when you're ready, TP the left hand, right hand threads underneath, second side. And do notice, is that right hip falling down? The tendency, yes, nice adjustments. Press down through the right knee to bring the hips level. Left elbow can point up to the sky. And a big inhale, get long in the torso, and exhale to twist open. So take the right shoulder back just a little bit more. And then inhale, come back through center, pause, and then walk your knees in to all fours, tabletop position again. Take the right leg back and back. If you follow the foot on the floor, and as you press back through the right heel, reach out the crown of the head. So we're getting nice extension through the back of the right leg now. So you want your right leg to be straight, but keep a little bend, a little micro bend, yes, in your right knee. So you don't want your knee to be locked out. And notice, is your belly button falling down again? Belly button to spine. Exhale the right knee down. Inhale the left leg out and back. Yes, beautiful. And really reach back through that heel. Reach out the crown of the head. And notice, is your chin dipping down? If it is, bring your chin back towards your chest just that little bit so you have a big extension through the neck. Lengthen the neck. And then exhale the left knee down. On the next inhale, right arm reaches towards the front of the room, left leg back, foot off of the floor this time. But flex your left foot, toes point straight down, and take it down so it's only about 4 to 6 inches off the floor. Yes, that helps you so that you don't get that arch in your back. Even here, we want that flat back like we're standing into Tadasana. Exhale, release, and switch sides. So this time the left arm goes towards the front of the room, the right foot back, flexing the foot, belly button in, ribs in, chin in. Spread your left fingers really wide, and then exhale to release. Now work it on your breath. So inhale, the right arm up, left leg back. Exhale it down. Inhale the left arm up, right leg back. And just do that, working on your breath. And going slow, using the whole breath to come into the movement. The whole breath to get out of the movement. And after you balance out your sides, do one more on each side. We'll meet in tabletop position. And then step back to plank. And just pause here for a moment to notice that your shoulders are over your wrists. If they're in front of or in back of your wrists, scooch your feet to adjust. And then keeping your hands and your feet exactly where they are, lift your hips up, press back to downward dog. Now we did open the back of the leg a little bit, but not much. So feel free to keep your knees bent here in this first down dog. You can pedal to start to wake them up. So bend the right knee, reach back through the left heel, bend the left knee, reach back through the right heel. And as I was saying in child's pose, without moving them, press your hands down and forward. And you should feel your bum come up even higher. Yes, even higher to the sky. And as you do that again, as you press your hands down and forward, as you exhale, feel your chest come a little bit closer to your toes. And then turn your biceps, that's the upper arms, the muscles in the upper arms, in towards your ears, and you should feel your shoulders come away from your ears a little bit. We want that. Inhale, come forward to plank, and exhale, press back to downward dog. Inhale, come forward to plank, and exhale, press back to downward dog. We'll do that like 5 times. So we're starting to warm up the shoulders now. We're starting to warm up the hip flexors now. And a big sigh. It feels good on Sunday morning, right? Yeah, big sigh. And after the 5, we'll meet back in downward dog. Can't even hear that music. I'll turn it up a little bit. So keeping your hands exactly where they are, let your heels fall to the right. So you're coming to the blade edge of the right foot, the inner edge of the left foot, and keep pressing your hands down and forward to take your bum back towards the sky. So getting a big stretch in that left side body again. Inhale, come back through center, and exhale, let your heels fall to the left. And notice, try and keep to the best you can, try and keep your shoulders square towards the front of the room. Big stretch in the right side body. Inhale, come back through center. Okay, inhale the right leg straight up and back. Step it through to pigeon prep. Sorry, I should have warned you. So this is a real early pigeon. We're gonna start waking up the hips a little bit. So it's early, so we're not going to fold, but I just want you to get the feel of the foundation. So the knee is all the way out to the right side. And actually, go ahead and peek at your left leg. The left ankle is going to want to splay out to the side. So you want your left ankle directly in back of your left hip. So you may bring it more to the midline. So it may feel like you're even more on the outside of the left kneecap. Your hands can be on your thighs. You can be on blocks to prop you up. But wherever you are, isometrically draw the right knee back and the left knee forward. Feel the lift in the pelvis. And then plant the hands, step back to downward dog. Then inhale the left leg straight up and back, step it through pigeon prep, second side. Knee all the way to the left. The back foot can be tucked under, so you can be on with your toes tucked, or the foot can be flat. If your toes are flat, peek at your foot so that your toes point straight out in back of you. So if your foot is on the floor, we want it to be back and back of you like this, so it's not sickled in like that. Nice, yeah, use your eyes. And then isometrically draw those knees towards the midline. Feel the lift. Feel the pelvis lift, ribs back, chin back. Big inhale. Exhale, plant the hands. Step back to downward dog. Okay, we're gonna work through one vinyasa. Knees down is perfectly appropriate, whatever works for you. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, bend the elbows, half push-up, chaturanga. Inhale, come forward for cobra or baby cobra. So if you wanna stay low, that's baby cobra. If you wanna come up high, it's more towards cobra, but wherever you are, isometrically draw your hands towards the midline and back towards your belly. You'll feel a big opening in the chest. Then inhale, shoulders up, back, and down, like you're squeezing a walnut between your shoulder blades. And then exhale, the chest down. Make your way back to downward dog. You can roll over the knees up through tabletop. You can press up to plank, whatever is appropriate for you. Inhale the right leg up and back. Step it through to lunge. As you step through to lunge, bring your knee as close, yes, beautiful, as close to your chest as possible so you can softly and gracefully as possible. Beautiful. Step through to lunge. Hands come to the floor or to blocks, whatever you need to keep your back from rounding. So notice Melissa, she's got a nice flat back. That's what we went rather than the rounding that we're doing all day on our phones and our computer. So right knee is directly over right ankle. Keep the left inner upper thigh lifting, and on an inhale, reach up, arms high to the sky. Nice. So tack the left hip forward just a little bit as you keep that left inner upper thigh lifting up, belly button back, ribs back, chin back. Spread the fingers, reach out at the fingertips, maybe start to curl back. Beautiful. If you're curling back, lift in the upper chest like a string is attached to your chest, bringing you up to the ceiling. And then if you're deep, inhale to come up. Exhale the hands down to the blocks. Bring them up to their highest height. And then as you press down through, if you want them down. I don't know if you want them or not, but they're there. Yes, press down through the right big toe ball mound to take the right thigh back to straighten the right leg. So both legs are straight-ish, but not locked out. Really keep pressing down through the right big toe ball mound. And everybody, inhale, look forward. Feel the length in your spine. Get really, really long in your spine. Now, keeping all of that length, exhale, fold inside the right thigh just a little bit. But keep a small micro bend in that right knee. Keep pressing down through the right big toe ball mound, reaching out the left heel. Heel is up off the ground, though. Inhale, look forward. Exhale to fold. Bend the right knee, plant the hands, step back to downward dog. And just pause here for a moment, scan the body. Notice how your body may feel a little bit different from a half an hour ago. Notice, does your right side feel a little bit different than the left, having just done that pyramid pose? So now we're going to balance it out. Find the balance. How we find the balance between the stretch and the strength, the heat and the cold. Inhale the left leg up and back, step it through to lunge. Softly, gracefully, silently, beautiful. Hands come to the floor or to the blocks. This time keep the right inner thigh reaching up. You want your left thigh to be as parallel to the ground as possible. I know that's hard. And then reach through the crown of the head. On an inhale, reach up, Virabhadrasana 1, crescent variation. Yes. So keeping the right inner upper thigh lifting up, descend another half an inch into the left knee. Yes, so left knee directly over left ankle, and then bring the ribs back, the chin back, maybe start to curl back. But chest goes up before it goes back, and the back bend happens in the upper back, not the lower back. Bend another inch into the left knee. Inhale, come back up through center. Exhale the hands down to the blocks. Turn them up to their highest height, probably. And then press down through the left big toe ball mound to take the left thigh back to straighten the left leg. And now notice your right hip probably needs to come down and forward to level your hips. And then inhale to look forward, exhale to fold. Trying to keep the length in the spine, so inhale, look forward, feel the length in your spine, get really, really long in your spine, and then exhale, just soften between maybe not so soft, but fold inside the left leg. It's a lot of work. And then bend into the left knee, plant the hands, step back to downward dog. Work through one vinyasa on your breath. So come forward to plank, knees down, appropriate, and we'll meet back in downward dog. Inhale, the right leg straight up and back. Step it through to lunge. We're going to come up again into Virabhadrasana 1, crescent variation. So inhale, come up, but we're just passing through here. So we're going to shift the weight into our right foot and come to standing on our right foot. So when you're ready, spring forward. Take all of the weight into the right foot, left knee in front of you, and get heavy in the right heel and keep a small micro bend in the right knee. That will help with your balance. Take your left ankle, cross it over your right thigh, just above the knee, keeping the left foot flexed. Sit back into standing pigeon. You can come to the wall if that feels better. If you want to work more of the hip opener and less of the balance, come to the wall. But keep the ribs in, arms lifting up, sit back a little deeper. Inhale to come up, left knee in front, pause for the transition, and then when you're ready, thread the left foot back slowly, slowly, slowly to that high lunge. Beautiful, beautiful. And then inhale the arms up, exhale the hands down. So we're going to go to the other side. So if you want to go to the wall, feel free to go to the wall. You're going to be able to work the hip opener much more if you don't have to concentrate on the balance, but find what it is that you want to work on today. Inhale the left leg straight up and back. Step it through to lunge. Notice that you haven't stepped onto balance beam. Come up to high lunge, Virabhadrasana 1 crescent variation. Maybe get a little spring in that right foot, and when you're ready, come forward, right foot up, balancing on the left leg. So heavy in the left heel, small micro bend in the left knee. Take the right ankle, cross it over, and sit back into standing pigeon chair. So really flex the right foot and keep the left sit bones reaching towards the back of the room. Maybe the right knee needs to come forward just a little bit to square your hips. Sit back a little deeper, raise the arms up. Inhale, come up to standing, knee in front. Pause, find your balance. And when you're ready, slowly step the right leg back to that high lunge. Beautiful control, beautiful balance. Inhale the arms up. Exhale the hands down to frame the front foot. Step back to downward dog. Beautiful. Balance is one of the hardest things for me. As I've gotten older, it's a real challenge. Bend your knees, look forward, step or jump to the front of the mat. Press down to rise up, reach up, arms high to the sky for tall mountain. Maybe look up. But peek at your feet. Notice that they're hips width apart and parallel. They're going to want to do this. So keep them parallel. And as you're sweeping your heels out, if I came up to Melissa, she's pressing her heels out into my hands. And then keeping that, she's drawing her shins towards the midline. And then belly button back, ribs back, chin back, spread the fingers, and you're totally engaged. All the muscles are hugging to bone. You say, I'm just standing here. No, you're really working really hard here. And then exhale the arms down to goalpost. Inhale them back up. We'll do that like 5 times. As the leaf blower goes off. And the next time they come up, bend the right elbow, hand reaches behind your back, with your left hand reach up and over for that elbow, and slightly persuade the elbow up towards the sky. And notice my head wants to jet forward. So press your head back into your elbow or your forearm. And then as you gently persuade the elbow up, ever so slightly, press the elbow into the hand and the hand into the elbow, and you'll feel the muscles engaged a little bit more. Inhale to release, and then switch sides. Pressing the head back, my chin wants to jet forward, so I press the head back, and I keep my inner upper thighs wrapping back, so I'm not doing this, keeping the thighs back, the ribs back, press the head back. Inhale the arms up, exhale them in back. Interlace your hands. So you can interlace your hands behind your back, or you can take your strap if that feels good, about like this far apart. But wherever you are, your hands or your strap, take a deep breath in. Get really broad in the chest, and keeping all that breath, exhale, start to pull, just rip your hands apart. It's like you're ripping your hands apart. And once again, this wants to happen, so keep the thighs back, and then ripping the hands apart, maybe start to take them farther away from the bum. One more breath. And exhale to release, yes. Bend the knees, press down to rise up, and then exhale to fold. Hands come to the floor or to the blocks, but preferably to something. I know sometimes people like to ragdoll, but I'd prefer that you have your hands attached to something. That way your body can feel like, oh, I know that I'm not going to face plant, I'm not going to fall forward, and you can concentrate more on the muscle. So keep your knees drawing up towards your waist and your sit bones drawing down towards your heels. Engage the hamstrings. Feel those hamstrings engage. And then inhale to look forward. Get really long in the spine, and even draw your fingers back towards your toes on the ground or the blocks, and you'll feel that help extend your spine. Keeping all of that length, exhale to fold. Now notice your foundation. Are your arches falling in? If they are, bring more attention to the blade edge of your foot. And notice, is your bum way in back of your ankles, or maybe even a little in front of your ankles? We want your hips to be directly over your knees and your ankles. So maybe lean forward into your toes a little bit, maybe lean back a little bit, a couple of times, and find that Goldilocks just right spot in the middle. Inhale to look forward, exhale to fold. Plant the hands, jumper, step back to downward dog. Okay. Work through one vinyasa, your choice. It doesn't have to be a chaturanga. You can go to child's pose if you like, whatever feels good to you. But keep the shoulders up. If you're in cobra, shoulders up, back and down. And we'll meet back in downward dog. We'll take a break in just a moment. One more little burst of energy. Inhale the right leg straight up and back. Step it through to lunge. Plant the back heel down and turn the back toes in just a little bit. Cartwheel the arms up to warrior two. So you want your front thigh to be as parallel to the ground as possible. That's really hard, I know, but right knee directly over right ankle, and keep the left thigh back. You say, what the heck does that mean? So think of your hip bones, the visual, as headlights. If your thigh is forward, they're angling out to the side. If you take your thigh back, your hip bones, the headlights are going straight for the sidewall. And then reach back through the left hand just a little bit. Center the torso more over the hips. Descend another ½ an inch into that right knee. And here we go for a hip opener. Exhale the right elbow to the thigh just above the knee. Sweep the left hand overhead. So this is extended side angle, Parsvottanasana. We want a nice straight line from the ankle up through the hip, out through the fingertips. Now notice, is your right knee falling in? If so, sweep your right heel towards the left and you'll feel it open up towards the right. Now you can stay right here. If you want more muscle energy, slide your elbow inside the thigh, press the elbow into the thigh into the elbow. If you want more extension, hand can come down to the floor or to the block, and then take the right ribs forward, the left ribs back, maybe start to look up. And then inhale, come back up through warrior two. Cartwheel the hands down, spin the back heel up, step back to downward dog. Lower your knees for just a second. So since we're talking about hips today, I'll show you. You can sit back on your heels. Since we're talking about the hips today, I'll show this because, see if I'm on camera. So we're in extended side angle. And what I see, this is Tadasana. You want both sides of your torso to be equal length. You don't want to be crescenting or side bending into it. So not this. So you want to keep the torso equal length. If you're going to take the hand down to the floor, a lot of people will just reach. Now what did I just do in the right side body? A bent. So it all happens in the hip. It's in the hip flexion. So I keep my torso and I bend into the hip to come down. See the difference? Yeah. Want to try the second side? Okay. Boy, I just got hot. Wow. Yeah.
It's so much work.
I know. So much work. Inhale the left leg up and back, step it through to lunge. Second side. Spin the back heel down, cartwheel the hands up to warrior two. Second side. So left knee directly over left ankle. If it's way behind your left ankle, you might want to move your back foot back a little bit. Always want to adjust the back foot, not the front foot, and stay for that way. And then notice, is the left knee falling in? If it is, wrap the left sit bone down and under, or press the left heel to the right. It'll open your knee up to the left. And then just gaze out over the middle finger, belly button in. Breathe for one more breath. Exhale the left elbow to the left thigh just above the knee. Sweep the right hand overhead. Yes. So your bicep is right by your ear. Yes. Keeping that right thigh back this time. Maybe take, if you want the muscle energy, take the more hip opening, take that thigh and slide it, the elbow and slide it down inside the thigh. Press the elbow into the knee, into the thigh into the elbow, or try that extension we just worked on. Beautiful. Yes. And then the left ribs come forward, the right ribs go back. Maybe look up. And then inhale back through warrior two. Cartwheel the hands down. Step back down with dog. Come forward to plank. And then lower slowly to your bellies. Take a pillow with your hands. Rest your forehead. You can rest your forehead on your hands. You can turn your cheek onto one cheek or the other cheek, whichever one feels better. Usually one side feels better. And this class goes to noon, right? Yeah. Okay. It's the only one all week. It's an hour and a half. Just notice your heartbeat. Notice your breath. It might have elevated a little bit. And then take your right arm, bend your right elbow, right hand up in front of you. Bend your left leg, left knee, and with your left hand reach back for the ankle, the foot, or your strap, or a thigh stretch.
Is it left hand or right hand?
You're reaching back with your left hand.
Same hand, same leg.
Yep. Yep. It's not a twist. So notice your knees are going to want to splay out. So keep the knees hugging to the midline. So maybe take the So getting that neutral pelvis gives you a deeper stretch. And then exhale to release. Watch the groin. Take the left hand out in front of you, bend the left elbow. And then bend the right knee with the right hand, reach back for the ankle, the foot, or the strap. You can stay with your head down on your forearm or your, that's better for your lower back, but if you want to come up onto your elbow, you can do that as well. But it's easier on your lower back if your forehead is down. And then remember, press the pelvis into the floor, into the mat, as you draw the foot, the heel, closer to the bum. Beautiful. Another deep breath in. And watch the groin as you release. Pause for a second. Take your right arm and reach it towards the brick wall, palm on the floor. So out of the T, bend your left knee and roll onto your right hip, taking your left foot behind you, coming into kind of a wild thing on the floor. So you can TP the fingers on your left hand, take the left elbow to the ceiling, getting a nice shoulder stretch here. So draw the right part of the upper chest forward, and then take the left elbow back. That was sharp, sorry. To open up the chest a little bit more. You can even take your block and put it underneath your head. If this is uncomfortable for your neck, bending towards the floor. Just one more breath, slowly unwind. Come back through center. And then take the left hand out to the side. TP the fingers on the right hand. Bend the left knee and step it behind you slowly for the shoulder opener on the second side. This time drawing the left part of the chest forward. As you exhale, take the right shoulder back. Another breath. And then unwind, come back through center. Place the hands middle of the chest, so nipple level. Tuck the back toes under. Take the shoulders up and back. And then when you're ready, press up to chaturanga or tabletop. Press up to plank. Press back to downward dog. On the next inhale, raise your right leg straight up and back, step it through to lunge, lower the back knee down, and then walk the right foot out to the side. Give yourself a little bit more space, and you can even point your right foot out at a 45-degree angle. Now, this is what don't want to happen. See how I'm kind of like collapsing down into this? You want to keep that left sit bone back, so you keep a little crease in that front of that hip. So keeping all of that, when you're ready, your elbows can come down to the blocks or to the floor, lizard pose. Try and keep your right knee in line with your right second big toe, and try and keep from big rounding in your upper back. So as the left sit bone is reaching back, you're reaching out of the right knee forward and bringing your chest, your heart forward to keep the rounding minimal in the upper back. Reaching out the crown of the head. Another couple breaths. If you want more, you can raise the back knee up high. That's a little bit more fire, a little more engagement. right toes, the right knee are pointing straight up. I'm coming closer to Melissa. So I'm rocking back. Now, if that's good for you, just stay right there. If you want to do more, walk the blocks back, take the knee back, walk the blocks back, take the knee back. But keep those right toes and knee pointing straight up. Keep a small micro bend in the right knee. So if it's locking out, press your right heel down into the ground and isometrically draw it back towards your hips. And then draw the front heel back, the back knee forward. Feel that engagement. Maybe come another inch closer. Or if you're in the splits, good on you. And when you're ready, slowly draw the front heel forward. Come out of that slowly and safely. And then just lean forward, plant the hands, make your way back to downward dog. Some people are more flexible. Everybody has some flexibility and some strength, but some people tend to lean more towards the flexibility side. Some people tend to lean more towards the strength side. Like we were talking at the beginning, the key is finding the balance between the two of them. Trying to find the strength and flexibility. Find the effort, the ease and the effort, excuse me. Okay, left leg straight up and back. Step it through to lunge. Lower the back knee down. Take the left foot out wide a little bit. You can turn the toes out if you like. And then when you're ready, elbows come down for lizard on the second side. And as you inhale, think of your heart moving forward, keeping from that rounding in the back. Notice is your chin falling down. If it is, take your chin back, but don't look at your belly. Look at where your fingertips are. And then if you want more, you can raise the back knee off of the ground. Breathe. And then if the right knee is up, lower it down. And then come up. Getting ready to go into baby condiment. So reach for your blocks. If you want to take the back knee back, feel free. And when you're ready, take the hips back, straighten the left leg, left toes and knee point straight to the sky. Stay here for baby Hanuman, or start to walk the blocks back, walk the knee back, walk the blocks back, walk the knee back, but looking out ahead of you, not down at your belly. Drawing the left heel back and the right heel forward to feel the engagement. Once you have the engagement, maybe you take the back knee back a little bit more. Big stretch. Big stretch. These are beautiful poses. All of you. Take another deep breath in. And when you're ready, slowly draw the left heel back. Look back towards your other knee to slowly come out of the pose. And then plant your hands and make your way back to downward dog. Okay, we were in pigeon really early on. We did standing pigeon. Now we're going to do the more traditional pigeon. Yes, bring the right leg more to the midline, so you maybe feel more on the, you feel it more on the outside of your right kneecap. And then draw the left knee back, the right knee forward. You want to feel that lift. You want to feel space under the pelvis. And then belly button back, ribs back. Now you can take the fold if you so desire. But even here, trying not to have an over-rounding in the back. And even here, keep those knees drawing towards the midline. Feel that engagement. This is an engaged pose. It's not a hangout pose, as Larry would call it. And really, on the left foot, press the ball of your foot like you're engaging a gas pedal, or more like you're in a Barbie foot. So you keep the engagement in the left foot to keep the left knee safe. Another couple breaths. Feeling the left back of the hip open up. You might feel a couple of different openings here over time. One more breath. Inhale, come up. Bend the right knee with the left hand. Reach back to the ankle, the foot, or the strap, or the thigh stretch again. This time taking the right hand even off of your mat onto the bamboo. Give yourself space, and then you can lean back on that right hand to open the chest more up to the sidewall. So left shoulder comes up and back, the twisting in the upper back, not the lower back. And draw the right heel more towards the right hip. And then watch the point as you release. Plant the hands. Step back to downward dog. Lower the knees and come to a seated position. Okay. Promised hip openers. We'll do a little bit more hip opening. You feeling the hip openers? Mm-hmm. Yeah? Okay. Some of you are so flexible. Wow. Awesome. Okay, so we are going to bend, take your right leg out long, toes and knee point straight ahead, straight up. Small micro bend in the knee so it's not locked out. Bend the left knee so your foot comes towards the thigh or the pelvis. We're going to do this before we do the hip opener. Inhale the arms up and exhale to fold. So try and keep the small micro bend in the right knee. So if it's locking out, push the right heel down into the ground and draw it back towards you. You feel the small micro bend come into your knee. And only come as far as you can keep that flat back we've been talking about. So if you're rounding a lot to get to your toes, just come up and grab just hold your shin. Maybe over time, you can start to work more towards your foot. Uber flexible people, I see them even put a block in back of their foot and can reach beyond. Inhale, come back through center, get tall, switch sides. Toes and knee point straight up. Maybe adjust the bum flesh a little bit. Inhale to get tall. As you exhale, turn and fold. But not looking back at your knee, not looking back at your belly, looking out over your left toes. Drawing that heel back towards your hip to feel the small micro bend. And then inhale, come up, bring your feet together, maybe shake them out a little bit. Okay, bend the right knee, here we're going for the hip opener. Bend the left knee, and you can bring the foot into the crook of your arm like this, or if that's not accessible, hold underneath the shin. But once again, if you're over rounding, let go and sit arm balance? Any takers? Okay, we'll give it, we will offer it, and we'll see if anybody takes it, okay? If you want to say right here, this is a nice hip opener. We've been talking about opening the hips. That was our goal today. If you're here, you've achieved the goal. If you want a little bit more, you take your arm up, reach your shoulder under. So you have to be above the elbow. It has to be above the elbow. And then clamp down, otherwise it'll slide off. Take your hands in chaturanga and down dog. Take your right ankle over your left, lean forward, and come into the arm balance. You have to really, really straighten both legs. Yeah, Danielle, straighten your legs. Make like a girder. Yeah, you're making like a girder. One steel girder. Instead of two legs, bring the knees together. Straighten the legs. Lean forward. Chest has to come forward, because this is so much heavier than this. Nice, beautiful, yes. Yes, good job. Okay, want to try the second side? One side's always going to be easier than the other side. So bend the left knee. Oh, I lost my thing. Where did it go? Oh, it's in my shirt. Sorry, people. I literally look like, where did it go? Oh, shoot. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, at home people. Muriel's going to be mad. Sorry. Messed up. Things happen. Shit happens, right? We got your back. Okay, thanks. Okay, so just stay here if you want. If you want to try the arm balance, take the foot up and over. Hook the foot over the ankle over the other ankle. Lean forward, straighten the legs. Yes, beautiful. Straighten your legs. Beth, Amy. Yeah. Good. Okay. Take your legs out in front of you. Give them a nice shake. We'll do one more hip opener. This is called double pigeon. We did pigeons, or sometimes people call it fire log. So it's not like lotus. Lotus would be bringing your foot back towards the hip. You want to take the shin parallel with the front of your mat. So anybody ever play with, you know what I'm talking about when I say Lincoln logs? Mm-hmm. It's like you're making Lincoln logs, stacking Lincoln logs with your shins. So this one, knee here, foot out here, foot flexed to keep the knee safe. And then the other foot comes over the other knee. And see, I'm really tight. For some of you, this will be just like nothing. Your knee will be right on top of your ankle. But for tight people, it's problematic. If this is really difficult for you, you can slide the foot inside the knee a little bit to come into it more accessibly. But keep both feet flexed and sit up really tall. And over time, as we sit here, you might be able to see my knee getting closer as I start to open up that hip. But keep the lower back coming in, belly button in, reach out the crown of the head. See that knee getting closer? It's starting to open up. And then unwind and switch sides. And I'm going to start out like this far apart, and you'll see it slowly descend over time. Keep the feet flexed, sit up tall. And I can literally feel the muscle changing as this is happening. Is anybody sweating bullets? Yeah. You're like, I am just sitting here, but it is so much work. Okay, unwind, come to all fours, take the right leg back, open up the knee, open up the hip, take the left knee back, open up the knee, open up the hip. Do you want to roll or do you want to do an inversion? Roll? Okay, roll. Raise your hands if you don't. I'll bring them around. Oh, God, this is heavier than it looks. Who doesn't have balls? Oh, that didn't come out right.
Wow. Wow.
You know what I meant.
No. You're going to have an engagement process to work through the damage.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry for the trauma I just caused.
Thank you.
Okay. You've got. Okay. Okay, so we'll open up the tote. And come to your bellies. I don't want to be in front of your face. So come to your belly. One of the balls, and place it under your right thigh, right below the hip. So kind of there in the meaty part. And maybe move it around. Don't move around, just maybe move it around a little bit to find a spot that's kind of like a knot or icky. And then just let it sit there for a minute. And then you can start to slowly bend the knee and release. And bend the knee and release. Slowly. The slower you move, the more effective it's going to be. And then, if you're ready, you can bend the knee and keep it bent and start to roll the ball to the inside of the thigh and then roll it back across and even, that's exactly right, even kind of like move the hip to get out, more to the outside of the hip. And literally, the slower you go, the more effective it's going to be. It's going to feel maybe a little painful, but it's the good pain. It's going to open that stuff up. We hold a lot of tension. We want to balance it out and release the tension. And the more you do this, the more effective it would be. Like, you can buy these balls in totes and just do it when you're watching TV, hanging out. I was working with a different size ball, a bigger ball, because I have a bad shoulder, and I had it under my breastbone, and I was like lying on the kitchen floor, and my husband came in and thought I was dead. He's like, "What are you doing? You're doing this crazy yoga stuff, this crazy." I'm fine, I'm fine. Okay, and then come back to neutral. Move it about halfway down. And we'll do the same thing, only down through the middle. Holding for a minute, maybe letting gravity just open that muscle up a little bit more. And then start to bend the knee up and down. And then, when you're ready, roll the knee out, away from you, to come to the inner thigh. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Come back through center. And can even roll under the hip to get to the outside. Ooh, I just went over it's like a steel wire. I just kind of popped over. Anybody got big plans for this 82-degree day? I think it's the last one we're going to get. Okay, come back through center and take it down a little bit more so it's just above your. Same thing. My brother lives right outside of Phoenix. I don't know how he lives there. They just started not making 100, but it's still in the 90s, and it's October. And And they didn't always live there, but my sister-in-law, who has a garden, she likes to garden, grow vegetables and stuff. And then when you're ready, you can take it out to the side. She had to get used to it. In Phoenix, they go to like Home Depot and plant flowers in October because it's too hot to grow anything in the summer. And then they harvest like in the spring. Another couple times, and then we'll switch sides so I can see what time it is. Okay. So come to the top, take the ball onto the left thigh, right below the hip. And one part of your thigh, your quad, is probably going to be tighter than the other part, depending on what you do. Cycling, running, different things. And just do the same thing on this side that we did on the other. You want to hear a story? Okay, as we do this. This is a story that a little story, I don't tell the whole thing, but it's one of my yoga philosophy teacher tells this time of year. And so it's harvest time, right? What's the last thing that's left in the field? The pumpkin, okay? And what is the pumpkin is attached by a vine to the earth. And what is the goddess, since we were talking about Navratri? The goddess is earth. The goddess is manifestation, and goddess is the earth. So the pumpkin is like a little being attached by its umbilical cord to Mother Earth. And then what do we do with it? We cut the cord. It's the first wound, like we're all of our umbilical cords are cut, or cut from Mother Earth. And then what do we do with the pumpkin? We cut its head off, which is kind of weird. But in doing so, we reach inside for that slimy, icky, yucky stuff. We all have our shadow. We all have that stuff that we bury. Start to, just do all this. We all have that yucky, icky stuff inside that we have to bring out, that fear, that trauma, whatever, that we need to integrate. We don't eliminate it. We just learn to work with it and turn what's maybe a problematic into an asset. So what do? We make papitas out of the seeds, tasty papitas. Or we use the seeds to create more life. And then what do? We've taken out the yucky, icky, dark, and we put a candle back in. We put the light back in. It's just a funny little, stupid little story. And then, remember to go down to the middle when you're ready. And when you're ready, you can move it down to just above your knee. And then taking it out to the side, cross-threading the ball across the muscles. There are, as the name implies, 4 muscles there, not one quad. There's 4 of them. And when you're done, take the ball and put it back in the tote. And then turn over onto your back. Now that was just relaxing. If you feel like you're just kind of toasted, you can always go to, we're gonna do back bend, we can always go to a supported bridge. So if you wanna go to a supported bridge, take the block under your sacrum. So not here, here, under that flat bone at the base of your spine, and you can come to the lowest height or to the mid height and feel your supported back bend. If that's your flavor today, go for it. Otherwise, we'll bend our knees, feet on the floor, and with your fingers, reach for your heels. That gives you a good indication of about where you want to be. Everybody's, the length of their arms is different, so it's just a rule of thumb. And feet are hips width apart and parallel, so give yourself some space, not too narrow. Now your knees are going to want to splay apart, so if you want to put a block between your knees, feel free. And then press down through your feet, press down through your upper arms. Your elbows can be bent if you want, with your palms facing towards one another, and lift your hips. Come into bridge pose. You can keep the robot arms. You can let your hands fall on any part of your body, like your belly, or interlace them behind your back like we did earlier standing for a little bit more of a shoulder stretch. And then if you're in the shoulder stretch, try to keep your wrists onto the floor. And as you press your feet down and forward, feel the back bend grow under the shoulder blades. So the bridge grows from inside. And then, keeping that, press your head back into the ground and feel the muscles in your neck relax. And do that one more time. Press your feet down and forward, grow the bridge, press the head back into the floor, feel the muscles in your neck release, and then slowly lower your hips to the floor. Take your feet wide, knock your knees in the middle. Hands can be on your belly and your heart. If you want more of a shoulder stretch, take your arms out into goalpost or cactus. Noticing your heartbeat, noticing your breath, balancing the breath. With every breath, there's a new opportunity. As we exhale, we release that which no longer serves us to make room for the new. Reset your feet. We can come into another bridge if you like, or we can come into upward facing bow. So if you're going to come into bridge, you can bend your elbows, palms face towards one another, lift your hips, come into bridge. Otherwise, take your hands wide as your mat, outside of your ears, fingers point towards your toes, press down to rise up, coming into upward facing bow. Yes, and keep the knees drawing towards the midline. And if you're in upward facing bow, pump your chest towards the direction you're looking. You can press your feet down and forward like we were just doing to come even, you bring your chest even more towards the direction you're looking. Maybe your legs come more towards straight. That's wheel. And then slowly lower down wherever you are. Take your feet wide, let your knees windshield wiper side to side, counterbalance the back bend. So when we go up, it's into upward facing bow. If you straighten the arms and straighten the legs, it's wheel. So just use the whole breath. Use the whole breath to bring your knees up through center, the whole breath to take them out to the side. And next time they come up through center, pause. Draw your right knee towards your chest. Take your right thigh over the left thigh. So it's thigh to thigh. Thigh to thigh. Scoot your bum to the right, let your knees fall to the left. Scooching the bum isn't mandatory, it just helps keep you on the mat a little bit more. And try and keep your right shoulder rooted to the floor. If it feels like it's coming up, you can push your left elbow into the floor, and that'll help root it down a little bit. And try and extend the right hip towards your feet. And even here, belly button to spine, so it's more of a twist and less of a back bend. Inhale, come back through center, unwind, and then scooch back to neutral. Take the left knee in towards the chest, left thigh over right thigh. Scooch your bum to the left, let your knees fall to the right. And this time keep the right shoulder rooted. So maybe you press down through your left elbow to keep the shoulder rooted. I mean, the left shoulder needs to get rooted. So press through your right elbow. And really, even here, pressure thigh to thigh and your shin to shin. Feel the engagement. One more breath. Inhale to unwind. Take your feet out long, arms overhead. Take a big, big stretch. Maybe point and flex your feet if that feels good. Big stretch. Feel all that space we made in this practice. Then hug your knees to your chest. Give yourself a big hug. Maybe make small circles on your sacrum. One direction, maybe a few the other direction, and then come to your final pose, happy baby. So take your knees wide and reach inside your knees for the blade edge of your foot. So knees are wide, wider than your shoulders. If your bum is flying off of the ground a lot, you can release the feet and grab hold of the knees or the shins, drawing the knees wide and back towards your ears. You can rock side to side. You can extend one leg out, the other leg out. Whatever feels good to you. And then when you're ready, release everything, and we'll come to Shavasana. So feel free to add layers, let your hair down, add props. If you have any lower back issues, it can feel really good to roll up a blanket and place it beneath your knees, or to take your blocks and put it beneath the leaves like Melissa is doing if you want to look up front. Otherwise, you can lie back. Let your feet go out towards the corners of your mat. Let your feet fall open. Take your arms away from your body a little bit. Let your palms face up. Now we're going to take a deep breath in for 4 beats, pause, and then exhale for 8 beats. So exhale through the lips. So inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, pause, and exhale for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do it one more time on your own. And then after you're finished with it, just release any controlled breathing and let yourself be breathed naturally. Let your body be heavy. Let your heart be light. Feel every part of your body that's supported by the earth. Feel your feet, your heels, your hips, your shoulders, the back of your head, Let your eyes soften. Let your tongue fall away from the roof of your mouth. Let the earth support you. We do so much caretaking of others. We need to remember to find the balance and let others support us. It's okay. Give your permission to feel the support. The support of your family, your friends, of your yoga kula here at Three Queens. Start to make small movements. Start to deepen your breath. Start to reawaken the body. To come off of the mat and back into the yoga of life. Maybe reach your arms overhead. Give yourself a big stretch. And when you're ready, roll off onto your right side and go ahead and pause here for a moment. Allow yourself the support of this very comfortable, familiar fetal position. And when you're ready, press down through your arms to come up into any comfortable seated position. And we'll meet with our eyes closed or softened, whatever's appropriate for you, and our hands in front of our heart. The lotus, the symbol of the heart in front of our physical heart. Thank you for being here, for allowing me to hold space for Mariel on this beautiful autumn day. We'll seal in the practice with the sound of one Om. Big breath in. Om. Softly bow your head to your heart, your head to each other's hearts. Namaste. Thank you all for being here on this beautiful day, for taking time to share it with one another. I absolutely love this place. I've been coming here since it was Dig Yoga before Mariel took it over. It's just a cherished space for me. And just not to overshare, but I've had, my husband has had some difficulties, some health difficulties, blah, 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 blah. And this place has always been a sanctuary for me. Yeah. So I hope if it is for you as well, or it becomes that for you. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you.